Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Hi everyone. Bonjour à tous. J'espère que vous allez bien. On va laisser les gens rejoindre. We're gonna wait for a few minutes just to let the people join the live. I hope all of you guys had a very nice week. Last live of the week. I'm gonna wait for 1 or 2 minutes maximum. Exactement, Matt.
It's for the
Exactement,
roast
Matt.
beef. It's for the...
So, how many people are in? Currently 22 people. Let's wait just a few minutes. So during this live, I'm going to show you all the trades that I took this week on NQ and ES. I'm gonna break down that for you the whole week. Took two trades this week, two TPs actually, so pretty good week for me. I don't know if you guys had a good week or not in terms of trading. Well, I hope you did great. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. 24 people. Well, I mean, it's Friday. Maybe people are out. Let's see. Exactly, ça va faire travailler ton anglais. Maybe I'm just going to let the people know in the Discord that we're live. Stay with me. Bear with me for 1 minute. All right. Everyone should be now aware that we are on live, so let's go. Guys, hope you have a nice week. I'm gonna share my screen with you. Go to trading view. Let's go. So, does everyone is okay with the sound, the screen? You can see trading view right now. Can you confirm that in the chat? But I think it's okay. You all are, yeah? All right. So as I said, I took two trade. Perfect. Took two trade this week. First one was on Wednesday. Second one was yesterday. And today I didn't trade because I don't trade on Friday anymore, especially if I had a good week. So yeah, let's break down these two trades. Well, actually, I'm gonna start from Monday, and I'll show you everything from Monday, what I did on those two indices, let's go. So Monday was the 13th. So I was on live actually on Monday, but during the London session. I don't know if you guys were there. But yeah, Monday was a quiet day. I'm not a big fan of Mondays, but you know, sometimes Mondays are okay. It wasn't the case this week. So on Monday, as we can see, we opened the week with a clear divergence in between ES and the NQ. We can see that here we're above this high. Here actually this low is below this low. Well, you know, this low is below that one. So we have an SMT here. That's the stuff that I want to see on indices. I'm a great fan of trading SMTs. So that's an information that it's very important for me to notice when I start, you know, my analysis. On the 4 hour. So we were pretty much bullish on both indices on Monday, as you can see. Let me just remove that. Show today's session, show, well. Well, maybe anyway, it's going to be more visual for you guys, actually. So that's the days of the week, nothing more. So on Monday, let me put that right here. On Monday, we've got that wasn't Monday, sorry. Let's put, I hope TradingView is not going to bug a lot, because sometimes this tool is bugging. Yeah, perfect. Stop. Here. So as you guys know, of course, I don't trade indices before the open of New York. So I don't trade before 9:30, which is in France, 3:30 p.m. So of course, I don't trade before the opening. I do trade the opening actually because it's a very interesting kill zone for me. So what I usually want to see during the opening is a clear PD array where the price is like evolving, and from this PD array I want to see SMTs. I want to see, you know, drawn liquidities in terms of external, internal liquidity depending on where we are. So on this Monday we can notice here the gap from the opening here, which is a good PD array to trade in. For maybe those who don't know, the opening gap is just, you know, here. You can see that we closed the previous week over here and we opened the week here. The next week here, there is a gap, okay? We should have opened here, of course. So that's a gap, and that's a PD array for us to trade in. Here it's like a supply zone, if I could say, in this case. So what I was looking for on Monday here, it was, you know, a retracement in this zone in order to maybe go for sells to target the Asian session, for instance. But I didn't have anything interesting actually. So here, I'm gonna put the price at 9. Here it's 8, so 8. I'm gonna go on the 15 minute to show you. So here 9:30. Okay, so see, actually it started pretty well because here you can see that the opening on NQ is bearish while the opening on ES is bullish, which means that we have an SMT. I like SMTs at the open, especially when they are exactly inside the PD array that I'm currently looking at. So here as you can see, we have an SMT. SMT, of course, for those who don't know, it's the divergence in between those two indices. Here we take out this high, while on the NQ we don't. Okay, we don't take out this high. As you can see, this high is this high. You can see with the line here, price go above this high. Okay, so it's a grab on liquidity, and here we don't take the liquidity above this high, which means that we have an SMT. Okay, so I'm gonna, for you guys, put that SMT here. Okay, that's a great, like, you know, it's a huge selling signal, especially here inside the PDRA, which, as I said, is the opening gap of the week. It was pretty nice for me, but then after that I will look for a clear IFVG, okay, a clear price action. Here we have an imbalance here, so I would like for the price to go below this imbalance and to create an IFVG, okay, which is going to be the case. But as you can see, the price action is way too messy. Okay, it's way too messy for me to trade. I would prefer a clean closure below this imbalance in order to trade inside this imbalance when the price would retrace in inside it. But we didn't have this clean price action, so I just cut the session at this point. I don't want to get involved in those kind of messy price action. There is no reason for you to trade in this kind of messy price action unless you want to take stupid losses. So that's why I just, you know, passed the session. I just closed the session. It wasn't interesting for me at all, and we ended up actually, you know, well, the whole session was pretty messy. Okay, so of course here, as you can see, the logic behind my analysis was right. Okay, I was right, but I didn't took any trade because of the price action. As I said 10 times now, it was so messy. I don't want to get into this kind of dirty price action, but actually if I would have sell here as the logic was, would took ended up being in profit at the end of the day. Okay, that was the logic behind my analysis, but as I said, the price action was too messy for me, so yeah. Nothing on Monday, no trade. So that was the analysis on Monday. Big SMT, big PDRA, price drop. Okay, let's go on the 4 hour now, just to go on Tuesday. So Tuesday was basically CPI day. I was in live during this day. Maybe some of you guys were there. So Tuesday, CPI day, you know, when it's this kind of huge, important days where you have like a strong news, you don't want to trade. It's better to sit on your hands, right? So we had like a good imbalance here to trade in maybe, but as I said, you know, CPI, you know what is going to happen. Brings too much volatility inside the market, as we can see here. That was the CPI wick, CPI candle. So after I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm gone. I'm not going to trade with this kind of price action again. You know, it's better to sit on your hands when you see those kind of things, because it's hard to take good trades in that condition. You know, in this kind of market condition is too hard. You know, you don't want to get involved in those kind of stuff. It's better to wait for better price action. It's better to stay patient. As you all know, trading is all about patience. It's all about being selective with your setups. So this is part of the game. When it's CPI day, for instance, or NFP day, bro, just don't trade. That's the best thing you can do, right? So again, no trade on Tuesday. Let's go on Wednesday. just going to do that because I know up. So Wednesday, as I said, I took a trade on Wednesday. Again, same logic than on Monday. As you can see, we're going into this opening wick gap, which is a strong PDRA in my experience. Okay, opening wick gaps are very, very strong PDRA. Price is going to react pretty well to those kind of gaps. Here, if I go on the 1 hour, as we can see here, I'm gonna do that 7, 8, right? So here again, I'm using SMTs a lot in my trading because there are strong signals, very, very strong signals on indices, especially in between ES and NQ. As you can see, both are evolving at this time on the opening gap. So what I saw is pretty simple. If I go on the 15 minutes, just to show you guys my analysis, here we have a strong candle, upstart candle, okay, after taking out the Asian low. And why is going to happen, it's pretty clear. Here at 9:30, we can already see that there is an SMT right now, okay? There is an SMT in between ES and NQ, all right? Here and here, we have an SMT again. ES is taking out this high, while NQ is currently at that point evolving below this high, okay? So that's a strong signal for me that the prices might like go lower at the opening, especially because it's inside this PDRA, okay? So it's not only because of the SMT, it's first because of this PDRA that the price is actually evolving inside it, and you know, the SMT that it's forming inside this PDRA is the second signal for me. We have a bunch of liquidities here, okay? So, you know, that's my vision at that point. And when I see that here, okay, so what we can see here, again, NQ is dropping lower, while ES take all the liquidity from that range, respect here the gap, you can see here, basically ES mitigate all the gap, it's filling all the opening gap that we have here, all right, and creating this SMT, okay? So SMT plus filling the gap plus taking out all this liquidity and candle closure inside the range, okay? So we took the liquidity out, all right, all this liquidity, we took all the liquidity out, closure inside the range, SMT filling up the gap. It's a lot of stuff, you know, it's a lot of signals, strong sell signals. So for me it was it, you know, I went to the 5 minute, just waiting for a clear inversion, which happened here. IFVG, okay, you can see a breaker block too here if you want, you know, here there is a breaker too. So yeah, for me that's perfect. I cannot ask for more, you know, it's just perfect setup, waiting for the price to come back, fill this IFVG, and I'm going to target this liquidity Asian session, and you know, just aiming for a 1 to 2 risk reward, as I always do. Here you could enter on this breaker block, but from my experience I know that we are going to mitigate the wick that took all this liquidity. So if you know, you want to see the 15 minutes, I'm basically placing my order, you know, close from the wick, because we are pretty much going to, you know, retest the week. So that's why my entry is here. And again, here. And then price drop. So again, you know, always having your stop loss above the high or the low that you're currently protecting, you know, because it's not, you know, as you can see, guys, you know, it was very close from my stop loss. I do not monitoring my trade, so I'm not staying like in front of my screen when I'm in a trade anymore. I don't like that. I just, you know, set my order and I go out, or I go, I go far from my screen because, you know, for my psychology is better. But, you know, as I said, be very careful. Don't put your stop loss like this or like that because of the spread. You know, give yourself a room to breathe and give your trade a room to breathe by putting your stop loss maybe a bit, one tick or two tick above the low or the high that you're protecting, because, you know, here the logic still okay, you know. And as I said, this kind of week, this kind of big weeks that are taking a lot of liquidity and stuff, usually the price is going to mitigate at least the 50% of the week. Okay, at least the 50% of the week. That's pretty common, so don't be surprised if you're trading those kind of weeks. It's going to happen pretty often that, you know, price goes, mitigate a week, and then go to your direction. So okay, that was my first trade of the week. Pretty clear. If you got any question, if you have any question of this trade, it's the moment for you to ask me. There is no question. I'm just going to continue to the next trade. Yeah, very deep retest on ES. As I said, those kind of weak, it's kind of CRT for those who knows, you know, can be called a lot of different names, but actually when price, you know, when price take a lot of liquidity out with only 1 week and create an SMT, usually the price is going to retest this week and then go up. So that's why you have to protect this low or this high. Of course, if it's this kind of situation, stop loss has to be very, very well placed, right? So that was my trade. We can see on the 15-minute ended up forming a breaker, so you guys could enter here too. Would have been a different entry. See, works too. And then during the afternoon we just retraced. So yeah, that was the thing for me. Pretty much one of my favorite setup at the opening. SMT plus, you know, drawn liquidity, targeting internal range liquidity here. Clean setup. 4 hours, we're gonna go for the next day. I'm gonna remove this drawing just to keep my chart clean. Up, maybe yeah. So the next day the trade was on NQ. As we can see on HEF, so on H4, what do we have? SMT again. Okay, SMT, I know I'm talking about SMT a lot, but it's basically what it's driving my trading. So that's why here we have an SMT on the HTF. Okay, as you can see here, that high is below that high, while on ES that high is above that high. So that's a strong signal for me that the price is going to keep moving like lower for the rest of the week. All right, especially with that kind of candle on the 4-hour, we can see that we are taking the liquidity above this swing high, and then we close inside the range by doing an SMT. That's beautiful, very, very, very beautiful. For me, it's like, okay, we're gonna go lower the next day. So what I was looking for on Thursday was basically setup to sell, the price to sell NQ, and I found a pretty nice setup, as you guys are going to see. So as you can notice, we took out the Asia high here. All right, we created an imbalance here. So that's our 1-hour CB. We have combined to this imbalance this previous low, which can be a strong resistance for the price to reject on. Okay, so I was just looking for opening setup as a light, SMT, or maybe sort of kind of rejection inside this imbalance at the opening. So that's what happened. I'm going to show you exactly how I entered the trade. So whoa. Here, as you can see, 15 minutes before the opening, we have this candle. So I just jumped on the 5-minute, and what I saw right at the opening was perfect for me. That's the first candle after the opening, 5-minute candle. As you can see, strong rejection in this fair value gap. Here we almost got an SMT, but no SMT for this trade, only strong rejection here, very, very strong rejection on this imbalance. I know that we are bearish, so I'm trading basically the order flow that is in power on the market at this point. Liquidity to take here, equal lows. I'm not asking for more than that. On the 1 minute, I can see a clear breaker block combined with an inversion here. So yeah, just sold the price here on this breaker, covering this high, targeting this low, maybe a bit lower. I was aiming for this low angle high. Sometimes I'm not targeting more than 130, 150 is okay for me. So for this trade is 130. Sometimes it's enough for me to target. And yeah, I had this quick TP at the beginning of the session, and the session was done for me. Sometimes you just have to keep the stuff easy and clean. I could have held the trade a bit more, hold the trade a bit more, but again, you don't want to risk a retracement to your entry point just to grab a bit more of profit. Trading is not about profit. Trading is about entering at the right point and exiting your trade at the right point too, and that's exactly what I did. I enter on this breaker block, which for me is the right point to enter. Could have entered maybe a bit higher in the breaker on this inversion, but usually the price is only going to mitigate this breaker. I was looking for a strong movement at the open, so I know that we're most likely not going to retrace a lot in this breaker, so that's why I entered there. And then yeah, big downstairs movement. So this liquidity is the target. Okay, these liquidity are the target. I'm not going to take the risk to hold the trade more, because the logic isn't there anymore for me. So yeah, happy with this trade too. 2 TPs, And as I said, I didn't trade for the rest of the session, and no trade today as it's Friday. But let's see what happened actually. I'm gonna answer all of your questions after that. So yeah, basically we went lower, 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 lower. Okay, yeah, taking out this low. All right, yeah, went lower. Phew. All right, what's happening right now? What's happening right now? Take out this low. Okay, so we got pretty much an SMT here, as you guys can see. SMT strong, 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 strong 4-hour rejection here. Could be interesting for longs, maybe. Let's see. Do we have an inversion? Ah, yeah, well, hard to say actually. Yeah, well, better to not trade. Better to not trade. Let me see your question, guys. So, do I trade only the opening? Tu peux write en anglais, pas de souci. Okay, bro. Well, no, I do not trade only the opening actually. It really depends. Well, my favorite setup are most likely forming during the opening, but I can trade the 10 a.m. candle as well. No, 10 a.m. candle is known to be could be a retracement, but you know, usually the 10 a.m. candle is like how could I say that? Un retournement. J'ai juste pas le mot en anglais dans la tête. A reversal. Okay, so yeah, actually the 10 a.m. candle is it's a good candle to trade. Yeah, it's a reversal, exactly. Thank you, guys. So yeah, I do trade I do not trade like, you know, when the 10 a.m. candle close, if I'm not in any position at this point, I usually just cut the session. I'm not going to trade 11 or 12. Maybe I will come back for the afternoon, so any afternoon, which is the evening in France. So yeah, mostly the opening and the 10 a.m. Candle, and sometimes maybe, yeah, any afternoon, but not every time, not every day. Really depend on the price action. So I'm just gonna answer this question. Louis, how do you manage your entry? Please limit order and breaker blocks, set and forget. Exactly, on you prefer to monitor the price behavior to your entry inside the order block. Yeah. It's hard to answer that question. It's a very interesting question. Actually, it's a very good question. I would say that it really depends. It really depends, and again, that's why trading is so hard, because I don't think there is like one better option, you know. It's like both are okay. It really depends on the current price action. If the price action is messy on the 1 minute, but I do like the overall idea, maybe I would monitor it more, right, in order to get the entry, like the perfect entry with this kind of messy price action. Now, if we're talking about a very clear price action where I can get like a clear entry on, I don't know, a CB or BZ or an IFVG, like for instance, this trade was a set and forget trade. If you want to answer with an example, that was a set and forget trade, just because everything was so clear, right? Wasn't messy at all. Once I saw this candle, I knew that I would like to enter, you know, in between here or here, right? So for me, it was, as you said, set and forget, because it's very clear, and there is only one option for the price to be right. It's either is going to skyrocket my position and I will be out, or either I'm going to be activate and I'm going to be TP very quickly after. Why? Because it's during this opening kill zone. So I know that it's not going to take long for me to get an answer on am I right or am I wrong, right? Because I'm basically entering 5 minutes after the opening. So again, it's either going to stop loss either going to TP in, like, in the next 10 minutes. I mean, usually it's going to be like that, right, in this time of the day. So here it's a set and forget. I don't have any example to show you where I could monitor more the trade, but sometimes I'm monitoring more the position. Yeah, true. I don't know. What do you guys prefer? I think it's for everyone like that. There is position that you feel that you have to monitor the entry more. Yeah. I think it really depends on the price action and on the feeling that you have on the position, and that's why trading is hard, because sometimes you cannot set rules. It's hard to set rules that you're going to respect on every spectrum and on every trade. It's more on the feeling, and it's not a bad thing, actually. It's not a bad thing, There is a setup that I like, which is for me, well, I call it the 1030 reversal. So sometimes I will speak about it in the next session next week. Actually, during as I said, the 10 a.m. candle can be a reversal, and usually this reversal start to happen at 10 a.m. Usually the price is going to form an SMT, and then we are going to go in the opposite direction from this SMT that is forming up around 10:30. So this kind of setup are more tricky. It's not that clear usually, so this kind of setup, I would say that I'm going to monitor more my entry. Here, at the opening is usually pretty clear. It has to be pretty clear, because you don't want to trade a messy price action at the opening, because you're gonna get wrecked very quick. If I go back on my first position of the week, maybe I could tell you if I was monitoring it more or not. Actually, it was here. But I do remember that it was pretty much the same set and forget, because everything was pretty clear again. Here I had my closure inside the range on the 15 minute that I show, and then I have my clear inversion here. So for me, again, it was like setting and just letting the price do his thing. All right, and here correlates well. If we're talking time and price, here I'm entering at 10 a.m. Again, 10 a.m. it's a reversal. What we did since the beginning of the session, going up, taking the liquidities, closure inside the range, inversion, 10 a.m. reversal. That's it. SMT, of course. See? So that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that was my week, my personal trading week. I don't know if you guys took trade. I don't know if you guys took any trade. I hear a lot of things on it's interesting, but take that much. You should. I actually don't use OHLC or but yeah, the 10 a.m. candle is a pretty interesting candle. There is a lot of traders that actually are trading only this candle, because again, indices are not that tricky. Indices are not that, the manipulation is pretty easy to spot. Well, depend on the day, but some days it's just like I want to bet my house on the trade. Like I know that it's going to happen like that, and there is no doubt for me that my trade is going to, be a TP. So that's why I love indices, man, because it's so clear and so repetitive. That's why it's great for me. All right. So maybe enough for the charts for tonight. As I said, if you still got question or anything, just feel free to use the chat. It would be a pleasure for me to answer it. Otherwise, I'm going to, do a little point of the question that we got like every day about the rules and stuff. So have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. All right. So guys, I'm gonna be clear with you on the question and everything that you guys are asking every day. So here, you guys keep asking, maybe it's not clear for some of you, so I'm going to go through the most asked question that we have every day at the support. Basically, let me do something. 1 minute. Bear with me, guys, because it's just a matter of 1 minute. I have to check that. I don't know why my connection is so slow. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see my screen right now. Should be okay. So basically, the most common question, yes, perfect. So the most common question are, yeah, exactly, concernant buffer, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna answer that question in French for you. Or maybe in English, if it's okay for you, let me know. Well, either way, I can explain it in both language. All right, so for the buffer, it's very simple. When you just get funded, when you pass your evaluation and you a new funded trader, you keep your drawdown, okay, your initial drawdown, the same drawdown that you got on your challenge. That's for the first, like, until the first payout, it's like that. So for instance, if you're a brand new two-step funded trader, you have your two-step, you have 8% of drawdown, okay? Once you reach a certain amount of profit and you're asking for a payout, then you're gonna switch to a buffer after you get paid. So it's pretty easy to understand. You have a maximum payout on each account. Of course, it's different, so you're gonna see all the payout, the max payout here in the FAQ. Okay, so maximum draw, maximum loss. So for instance, for the 100K, it's 4K. That's your max payout on the 100K. For the 200K, it's 6K. For the 300K, it's 8K. Okay. So if we're taking example on 100K account, once you reach a certain amount, you cannot exceed 4K, okay, to get paid. So actually, if your balance is, I don't know, something like 106,000, okay, you can ask for a payout, but based on your maximum payout, which is 4K, okay, and you're gonna get paid 60% of this amount, which is 4K. So 60% of 4K is 2K 400, okay? So that's what you're going to be paid, and the rest of the 4K, which is 1,600, is going to be your buffer, okay? So it's simple as that. Of course, this buffer can be used as a drawdown, or it can be withdrawn in the next payout. If you're able to do again 5 days of trading and you're asking for a new payout, you'll be able to withdraw this new amount, which will be more than 1,600. Okay, so I don't know if it's clear for you. Otherwise, you have the answer here. During the evaluation, you're free to generate as much profit as you wish with no profit limit. For funded account, you can generate a maximum profit per trade equal to 40% of the reward limit. Une fois qu'on a le buffer, si on perd les 1100. Exactly, yeah. Non. En fait, c'est très simple. À partir du moment où tu as demandé ton premier payout, que tu as été payé du coup 60% de ce que tu as demandé, encore une fois, tu peux demander un payout quand tu es à 103 000. Si tu es à 103 000, on va te payer 60% des 3 000. Okay, et le reste, donc les 40% des 3 000, tu vas les garder en tant que buffer. Ce buffer, c'est ton drawdown, tout simplement. Si tu liquides ce buffer, tu n'as plus de compte. Mais ça, c'est après ton premier payout. Quand tu accèdes au compte, tu as 8% de drawdown. À partir du moment où tu as demandé ton premier payout, tu t'es constitué ton premier revenu et tu as aussi gardé du coup un buffer qui est ton drawdown, tout simplement. Donc si tu pars sur une base de 4000, comme je l'ai dit, on te paye 2400, tu gardes 1600 et ça c'est ton buffer. Imaginons que tes fonds d'aide, tu arrives à monter ta PNL jusqu'à 108 000 par exemple, ou 110 000, imaginons 110 000, ce qui est du coup une très belle performance, tu as 110 000, tu demandes un payout. Évidemment, nous, on va calculer ton payout sur la base de ton maximum possible par payout qui est 4000, donc on va te payer 2400. Ok? Donc de 10 000, on va enlever 2400 tout simplement. Il va te rester donc 7600, et donc ça, encore une fois, c'est 7600, c'est ton buffer. Donc c'est ton drawdown, c'est aussi de l'argent que tu vas pouvoir retirer par la suite. C'est pas de l'argent qui est uniquement consacré à ton drawdown, c'est de l'argent que tu pourras retirer par la suite en ayant rempli tous les critères nécessaires pour être éligible à un payout, qui sont donc 5 jours de trading avec un minimum du coup de 0,15% en profit de ton compte. Finalement, il faut d'abord se créer un bon buffer avant de demander un payout. Libre à toi en fait. Encore une fois, comme moi je l'ai dit, c'est vraiment la même logique qu'un compte propre. Tu vois, quand tu as un compte propre, Imaginons que tu as mis 10 000 sur un broker, que tu trades avec 500 par trade, ce qui est déjà assez généreux. Tu touches 1 TP, 2 TP, 3 TP. On va dire que tu as une moyenne de 1 R de 2, donc à chaque TP, tu touches 1000. Imaginons du coup que tu passes de 10 000 à 13 000. Est-ce que tu vas demander le retrait des 3 000 pour repasser à 10 000 ou est-ce que tu vas continuer de trader avec ces 13 000 pour aller plus haut? Enfin, en gros, dans un biais long terme, de pouvoir monter le compte. Je pense que c'est plutôt la deuxième option pour laquelle tu vas opter parce que à quoi sert de poser 10 000 sur un broker pour retirer à chaque fois que tu touches un TP? Ça n'a pas vraiment de logique, tu vois. Donc, dans l'idéal, moi, ce que je pense, c'est qu'effectivement, autant se créer un bon buffer avant de me demander un payout. Maintenant, tu peux très bien aussi demander un payout dès que ça te chante, dans l'aspect de te dire, ok, déjà, j'ai rentabilisé le compte, j'ai un drawdown quand même qui reste assez convenable, parce que tu me diras 1600 ça paraît petit, mais c'est quand même 3 cartouches si tu prends un risque de 500, tu vois. Et tu peux augmenter ton risque au fur et à mesure que ton buffer remonte. C'est que du money management, c'est que de l'intelligence en fait, hein. C'est que avoir un bon money management, etc. Super. Alright, so I'm gonna go through the other questions that are currently asked. So, what is the maximum profit rule? Okay, as I said, it depends on your account, but basically it's 40% of your maximum payout. Okay, it's per trade, it's not per day. All right, so it's basically 40% of your maximum payout. Again, if we're taking the example of a 100K account, it would be $1,600 per trade, because this amount is 40% of your maximum payout, which is 4K. Okay, it's written here. For funded accounts, you can generate a maximum profit per trade equal to 40% of the reward limit applicable to the account size. Okay, for this example, on a 100K account with a reward limit of 400K, the maximum profit allowed is 1,600 per trade. Okay, if a trade closes above this 40% profit threshold, it will be automatically closed and considered a violation of the rule. In such case, the trader will receive a warning. The first two violations will result in warning only. The corresponding trade will remain valid and their profit will still count toward your account performance. Upon the third violation, the funded account will be permanently closed as repeated breaches of this rule demonstrate a failure to comply with our requirements. Ok? So, en français, en gros, si vous dépassez la limite des 40% par trade, des 40% de votre max profit par trade, donc ici, si vous prenez plusieurs trades qui dépassent à la clôture, du coup, 1600, vous allez être averti une fois, deux fois. Ce ne sont pas des avertissements qui vont résulter d'une clôture de votre compte, ça sera simplement des avertissements de mise en garde, ok, tout simplement pour vous dire faites bien attention à cette règle. Au troisième avertissement, par contre, bon là on va commencer du coup à devoir sanctionner et on va fermer votre compte tout simplement parce qu'après deux avertissements, si vous continuez à le faire, c'est que vous ne prenez pas en considération nos avertissements et nos règles de manière générale, ok, tout simplement. So that's for this rule. All right. Again, there is a question that it's currently asked too. It's the number of trading days required to ask a payout. So you must at least 3 days to validate your evaluation. That's for the challenge. Okay, on funded accounts, to be able to request a payout, it's at least 5 active trading days. So what an active trading day? It's pretty simple. It's written here. For a trading day to be considered valid on the funded account, the trader must generate at least 0.15% of the initial account balance in profit. Trading days ending in a loss are not counted as valid trading days. Okay, for example, on a 100K account, a minimum of 150 profit is required to validate a trading day. Okay, so that is clear for everyone. If you do have questions, just ask me in the chat. So again, to be very clear before I go on, it's 60%, okay? Funded traders are allowed to withdraw 60% of their maximum payout depending on the account, okay? And the 40% that are going to be on your account is the buffer that you create yourself. All right. For funded account, traders may withdraw a maximum of 60% of the available profit at the time of the request without exceeding the maximum reward amount permitted based on their account size. For example, for a 100K account, if the trader generates 4% profit, okay, so should be this amount, they may withdraw up to $2,400, which is 60% of the 4,000, right? After the withdrawal, the account balance become 101,600. The remaining 1K600 profit act as P&L buffer, meaning the trader can sustain a drawdown up to 1K600 without breaching the account. Okay, so I think it's clear for everyone. Let's end up this live with some information just to let you guys know what is going on in Clickfunded. I'm going to show you what it's more traded. Just 1 minute, bear with me. Could interest some of you. So yeah, basically, as you can see, since we opened, since Clickfunded is running, the most traded pair, it's the gold. So I know a lot of you guys love to trade gold. The most traded pair is XA USD, or bestseller is the two-step 100K. The second position goes for the two-step 50K, and the bronze medal it's for the one-step 25K. All right, so that's a little bit on information for you guys to know what is going on. All right, I don't know who is trading gold, but there's a lot of people trading gold. Is then people here that are gold traders? Because you guys might be interesting with indices, as I saw. Well, yeah, the two-step 100K is a classic. I think people like it really, pretty much. I think it's the most classic challenge in the industry. Two-step 100K, two-step 50K, and one-step 25K for those who like pace. All right. So guys, I think I'm gonna cut the live now. If you don't have any question, have a great weekend. Next week we have a good question. Alors, si je devais prendre un challenge, quel prendrais-tu et pourquoi? Eh bien, c'est très simple. Je pense que je prendrais un one step 100K. Tout simplement parce que je pense que en fait, si tu as de la data sur ton trading, ok, si tu as de la data sur ton trading, que tu es un trader confiant et que tu sais comment gérer tes potentiels cycles de drawdown avec un bon money management, bah, la target, elle est atteignable rapidement. Je pense que je prendrais tout simplement un... Je pense que je prendrais un 100K, même un 200K one step. Hein. 200K one step. Regardez, je vais vous montrer tout simplement ce que je prendrais. Donc ce que je prendrais, ça serait un 200K. Un 200K one step avec l'option fast pass. Et je passerai mon trade en un jour, tout simplement. Enfin, j'essaierai en tout cas de passer le challenge en un jour. Enfin, ça serait l'objectif et ce serait la raison, si tu veux, du coup, réponse à ta question du pourquoi je prendrais ce challenge. Tout simplement dans l'objectif d'avoir le plus rapidement accès à mon financement. Avec une target de 6%, je prendrai un bon trade sur les indices et puis voilà quoi. Ou alors, tout simplement, dans une semaine comme celle que je vous ai breakdown aujourd'hui, bah, il y a deux trades qui passent. Même sans l'option fast pass, vous voyez que ça me fait déjà en gros la target de 6% de trade. Après, c'est que du money management. On a une tarification qui est avantageuse. Donc, moi, ce que je prendrais, ouais, forcément un one step pour aller plus vite. Hein, je ne vais pas le cacher, ce serait pour aller plus vite, accéder à un financement plus rapidement, avoir mon compte financé et pouvoir monter le buffer tel que je le désire, quoi. Bah, ça dépend parce que tu entends copy trading. Ça dépend parce que tu entends dans copy trading, tout simplement. Avec plaisir. Si tu parles de copier tes trades d'un compte à l'autre, avec d'autres copieurs, avec un copieur, à ce moment-là, oui, il n'y a pas de problème. Et toi, du coup, Yaya, ça serait quoi le compte qui t'intéresserait le plus? Je t'ai donné ma réponse, toi, donne-moi la tienne. Si tu es toujours là, ça m'intéresserait. En tout cas, les gars, c'était un plaisir ce live. Thank you for watching the live, guys. As I said, next week we're gonna have a guest, a special guest, um, Forex Fab. Very nice trader, very good trader. So he will share his opinion on the market. He would share, you know, how he trade. A lot of value during this live that will be hosted by Hugo. So next Tuesday, Forex Fab and Hugo will go live. So make sure to be there if you're interested. Ok, bah tu vois, on est d'accord. Donc c'est super. Ok les gars, bah écoutez, passez un très bon week-end. C'était un plaisir pour moi d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. Prenez soin de vous. Et puis, encore une fois, quoi que ce soit comme question, vous pouvez contacter le support. Je vous invite à rejoindre le Telegram. Je vous invite à rejoindre le Discord. Sur Telegram, on va apporter une valeur qui est différente que dans le Discord, etc. Donc, n'hésitez pas, si vous voulez justement de la valeur trading, à rejoindre le Telegram. Que ce soit moi ou Hugo, on va partager justement des charts. On va partager des choses que l'on ne partagera pas dans le Discord, sur Instagram, etc. Donc, n'hésitez pas à rejoindre l'ensemble de nos canaux pour vraiment avoir l'ensemble de la value. Guys, don't forget to join the Telegram, join the Discord, of course, join us on Instagram. On Telegram, we're gonna share a different value that we're currently sharing on the other socials, so make sure to join the Telegram too. Hope you have a good session with me, and I wish you a good weekend. See you next week. All right. Guys, take care of yourself. I'm going to end the live now. Bye bye. Take care, everyone, and see you very soon. Ciao, ciao.